I hope you're doing well today. I hope you're with good health, prosperity, a strong mindset, and a healthy vision for the future. Honestly, no matter what you decide to do, it's going to be difficult. The honest truth is life has challenges that are going to make you uncomfortable. If you decide that you want to stay at home, watch TV, eat Cheetos, and just lay up and chill, eventually your health is going to catch up to you. And then it's going to make your day-to-day life difficult. If you decide that you want to be productive, wake up early, start a business, be productive, eventually you're going to have days where you're going to wake up and you're going to ask yourself, what am I doing? What is this for? You're going to feel stressed. You're going to have to pick what challenge you want to face. There's always going to be both, right? You're going to have some days where you're going to want to be lazy. You're going to have some days where you're going to be tired and you might just lay up and eat some Cheetos. I'm not saying either one is the only way to live, but I am saying that there's going to be difficulties that you face in your life regardless of which path you choose. The only thing that makes life worth it is having the choice of what suffering you pick. And if you pick a suffering that means something to you and gets you to the point where you're living the kind of life you want to live, then it's worth it. The biggest obstacle that people come across is that they don't make that decision and they let life make that decision for them. If you think about it, you are literally taught from a young age to put your responsibility in your life and your future in someone else's hands, to apply for that job and let someone else decide when you wake up, when you finish work, when you clock in, when you eat, how many breaks you're allowed, how long your break is. You are literally told from a very, very young age that someone else will control your life. Don't worry about it. And it's whatever. But then you put it into practice and you realize that if you're not in the right environment or you're not doing something that you're passionate about, that routine makes you miserable. And then you have suffering, right? But then some people, they look into different avenues. Maybe they get into entrepreneurship. Maybe they get into freelancing, whatever. So then they have a different set of instructors. And those instructors tell them, okay, well, if you want to be successful, you have to create your own path. You need to learn how to develop a skill. You need to be able to market yourself. You need to be able to grow an audience, blah, 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 blah. And then they go down that path and they realize it's tough. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of days where you might ask yourself, hey, what am I doing? There's a lot of people who go down this path, get absolutely nothing out of it, or they fail miserably and tank their life. So no matter what avenue you pick, you have to pick your poison. But the only difference is that one pathway is in your control, the other pathway is outside of your control. So whatever you choose, the consequence will either come back to you and you can take the responsibility and say, yeah, I did it, or yeah, I failed. Or you get to put that responsibility on someone else and say, well, they're the reason why I'm in this position. They're the reason why I didn't do this. They're the reason why I didn't accomplish that. But regardless of what you do, you have two outcomes ahead of you. So the main thing I'm trying to say here, and the overall message, is to decide for yourself what path you want to take and what you're willing to put up with to get to the end goal. Because at the end of the day, the only person that gets to benefit or suffer from the consequences of your decisions is yourself. So you might as well give yourself the authority over that outcome and not outsource it to someone else. Because at one point in your life, you'll look back and you'll ask yourself, what did I do with the one life I had? And if that answer is nothing, you won't get a do-over. You don't get to try again. You don't get a mulligan. You can't respawn. What's done is done. So do your best to make it worthwhile. Watch this video, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.